How you doing? We're waiting on our guest. We're logging in, making it happen, letting you know that that's what we do here with Dr. Paul Dyer. Um, I hope all you guys are doing well. Let's see how we can continue this conversation. So we are we are often blessed by having conversations with people who do so many things. And that's the important part of being a podcaster, a live show, or however how you want to call it. It's important. See, I think people look at shows as informational or as conversational or antagonistic. And a show should never be, it can be, my shows are never none of those. My shows is always about in touching with people who are doing some amazing work in this world. And we are in a struggle for many things. And be careful, and I am careful of how people use the word struggle. Struggle is not often used very lightly, but it's used very diligently. How you doing, Dr. Val? She's connecting audio. The audio is connecting. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Dr. Dyer. I actually am waiting on my computer. It's updating, but I just decided to use my cell phone. Thank you for sending it. It just said working on updates 100% complete. So if you don't mind, as we go along, I will switch to. Has it started? Have you
It
started?
has started, but that's okay.
Okay,
I,
that's
I'm
fine.
I'm a patient man.
I like that. Yes, that's good. So I think my computer has just started because I think it would be better if I switch to my computer.
Absolutely.
So instead of my phone,
So
just give me.
we'll wait for you to pop on as you switch.
Or we can start and then I can sort of switch. I can switch to my computer when it's ready.
Okay.
Does
So
that work, or you want me to, or you want
so
us to?
well, hold on. So as many people might know and have known, and who have not seen you and don't know who you are, introduce yourself to this wonderful, amazing world we call Bridges Live with Dr. Paul Dyer, and where you are and what you do. Because I know you, I love you, but everybody doesn't know you.
Yes. Can you see me?
I can see you.
Can
I
I
can see
just
you.
wait a minute? Let me switch on the light because I think this light is not sure if it's bright enough. Is it bright enough?
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Yeah, we may just use this if you can see me well.
I can.
Uh, hopefully
You're good.
it will work. Yeah. You never can tell what happens with technology. They can
Nope.
be disappointing at any time. So I'm still working on my computer behind the scenes, so bear with me. Yeah, so in terms of introduction, in a nutshell, my name is Val Okaru Baisant, and I am the CEO, founder, and general counsel, and also social entrepreneur of Afro Cosmo Development Impact LLC, Maryland, USA. And what we do is we provide transactions, advisory, and also capacity building, primarily business, trade, legal capacity building support to small, medium enterprises in the trade, investment, and development space. And also, of course, in the African and African diaspora space. So that's just in a nutshell. Now, in terms of background, I have a background in working in multilateral organization, and also working in a law firm, M&A work, and of course, I'm adjunct. I've been adjunct for a long time, teaching business trade courses. I taught at the Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C. And of course, I taught at the Elliott School for several years. I taught development law and practice, development policy and practice, actually, to be precise. Yeah, so really, basically, in a nutshell, that's what it is. And of course, I am a graduate of Stanford Law School and also Tufts University, Fletcher School, and the London School of Economics. Yeah. So
Since the last time we talked, there has been a lot has happened with a new election, COVID, just a whole gamut of things. And I want to know, how is the diaspora? How are the trades? How are we doing as human beings, or as the people you've been working with? It must have taken a hit. And that's why I okay, people on the back end, I nag a lot going, when we coming on, when we coming on, when we coming on. And Dr. Val is very patient. She's very busy. And because I want to know what's going on. And so what is going on, and how are the trade negotiations? How are things?
in well, in my space, I can't
Yes.
speak for other
Yeah.
people's
Yeah.
space. It's not been very easy. Now, we also, one thing I didn't mention is we run forums. We have what you call the Afro-Cosmo Forum on Solutions to SME Productivity Problems. And we had our last forum, we had, which of course, I think was just a couple of months ago, we had the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Women and Social Services talking about how women in the marketplaces, these are small, medium enterprise traders.
Yes.
Now, I'm talking about Africa now, not just here in the US, were wailing in the marketplaces when COVID kicked in. But why? Because they knew that that was their livelihood. It was like, they're already living from hand to mouth, so to speak. And then you have COVID kick in, and they're left with, should I really violate the rules of, the mask wearing and not going out to sell my product at the risk of not being able to feed my kids in terms of my livelihood? So they're between a rock and a hard surface, so to speak. Now, my clients here too, of course, that we had a stimulus package in the US.
But not everybody got it. Not everybody
right.
we got it. People keep saying, well, people got stimulus, people got stimulus. Not everybody got stimulus. And a lot of people who look like us didn't get stimulus.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, I'm listening. I'm sorry.
No, that's what I wanted to say. Just that a lot of people.
I'm still trying to get in, so bear with me.
So I want to talk about the people who didn't get the stimulus and how they were able to navigate this, because I know we're still navigating, and I know we're not out of the woods of this, but there's a lot of stuff that we got buried under. People you work with just got buried.
That's right. That's right. And it's not been easy at all. It's for a lot of people. I have actually not taught my class since, I taught last year, but I haven't taught this year because most universities, as you know, suffered quite a little bit here and there in terms of, because we had hybrid, and we had, although now things are much better, of course, but it was online. I taught online last year. Now there's a shift now where it's hybrid, or in some universities, and they're going back, of course, face to face. Of course, my son returned to school. The high schools returned, in person. But having said that, like you said, the stimulus package didn't really go far. Now you have eviction notices that have been given. That's another one, for people who can't pay their rent. And that has been lifted, right? So, it's not easy at all. It's been tough for a lot of people. We're lucky that we're not in that league, in terms of, having to go out in the streets and have nowhere to sleep or whatever. In terms of food, you see, food, shelter, clothing, those are basic necessities. Yes. You know what I mean? Yes, so when you have COVID kick in, you lose your job. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, healthcare. Some people will add healthcare to that, in terms of, are they all human rights, right? So in terms of, I work in trade and business, my survivalist clients, as I mentioned, of course, are having trouble. I have a client of course, I can't call names in
Please don't.
in a country in Africa that actually was affected, and in terms of access to capital, and so she's currently trying to seek some financial assistance to help her with that, because the stimulus package has not really gone far enough. People need jobs, they need, but let me not even criticize President Biden, because since he came in, a lot of improvements have been put in place. This is why we're more confident now. People have their vaccines. I have had mine. Did you have yours too?
I did. But here's the thing. It's not so much what President Biden can do. There's a lot of rules and regulations that has already been put in place for many years that still has not been lifted. And that strangleholds the community, strangleholds a lot of the population that you work with.
Yes. So you're talking about the bottlenecks to
Yes.
Going back to work.
Yep.
The thing too with companies is that when, as most companies are for profit, even the non-profit too, they have to sort of pay bills, and they have to pay, so overhead costs versus, the way cost benefit analysis. So when you have this kind of situation where they're not making a lot of profit, especially the retail industry, they suffered a lot, as the restaurant businesses.
Oh, they suffer.
Of course, because most people, if you're not going to restaurants to eat, then there's no money to pay. So the employers also are going through that. In terms of providing insurance or medical benefits for their employees and all. That's a hard one, especially with COVID kicking in, and they're not making much profit. They're going to have to lay off some people, or more people are going to work part-time. You see, so that's always a problem.
As an adjunct professor, you only get paid when you teach.
Yes. As an adjunct, I get paid only, and we get paid only when we teach.
Right.
But,
and a lot of people don't know
my company. Yeah.
A lot of people don't know 3/4 of a university is mostly adjuncts.
Yeah. Most universities, is it only 3/4? I thought it was more than that. I think most universities have adjuncts.
They do. But 3/4 is a lot of professors and people teaching that only get paid as they teach, not get paid according to tenure. I know every teacher wanted tenure back in the day. It's just not easy to get tenure on a school, on a university level. It's just not. I know I taught adjunct for many years. And
where did you teach?
St. Mary's University.
Okay.
It's just not, it's great. I love teaching people, and that's why we teach. People teach because they love to teach, but it's it's not a career choice where like this is longevity and a stranglehold, because it's just not there. I mean, there's times where even Colin West here at Harvard has a hard time, and I don't think he has been doing tenure. And he talks about the prejudice at the school of Harvard. So we know there is favoritisms around schools, and I don't want to get into schools and anything like that. But so how can, with COVID, with the trade negotiations, with a lot of embargoes, how are you able to get around that when it comes to your SMEs, especially when it comes to trade?
You mean in terms of advising them on what to do?
Right.
Well, the best I can do for my SMEs is give them access to where they can get funding. Like I mentioned with the
is there funding out there at this time?
There is, but I will tell you this, that looking for money in and of itself, like grant seeking, grant research, loans and all, in and of itself is a specialty, right? It's time consuming, very, very, very capital intensive, you see. So, but there's foundations out there. There are, multilateral organizations. They're just different places where people can have access to, capital, and that's not even the only way, because really, I'm not a finance person. I'm sorry, I'm looking here, but I'm still, believe it or not, my computer. Yes. But for us, one of the things we do is, when I mentioned that we provide, business legal training and support, for instance, in the area of M&A, franchising, business up to, I taught business associations for a long time. So basically, if a company is going under or has trouble, okay, with making, let me switch. I think I see your link right now. One of the things we recommend to them is not necessarily going to get money out there. You could actually, if you have good ideas or innovative ideas, say in agriculture sector or creative industry or wherever, you could actually approach others to buy you out. You know what I mean? You
Yes.
could have, M&A. I always say that Bill Gates started in his father's garage as a small business owner, right? So
he also had the connections. We got to remember, Bill Gates started in his garage, but Bill Gates' father was very well connected.
Yes. You're absolutely right. And one of the things that, I think I've said it before in some of the forum, I think an earlier forum here too with you, is that our network is our net worth. So for and not just for my clients, for me too, because you have to be, because as you mentioned, I'm trying to get why. Maybe because I'm in already. Okay, it's taking me in. Okay. Join meeting. Can I join while I'm with you, or should I cut this off? No, I can join while. Okay, I'm in. Let me go in now. Okay. So one of the things that, as you rightly mentioned, for us in the minority community is, the networks. We need to build good networks to be accessed. That's why, I know when I worked in a law firm years ago, we played golf. The law firm itself. You see, I have two. Which one am I here? Okay. I think switch. I can safely switch this off, right?
There you go. And as you switch on over, there she goes.
Yes. Okay. Well, perfect. This is great. Yeah. So, really, if a business, if somebody owns a business and they're going through financial problems, one of the things we tell them is the only option is not necessarily to go bankrupt. If you have some ideas that are very good, for instance, in the food industry, instance, you register your trade secret and you're selling your food, and then you have problems during, like I've seen it even happen here, although, I've done more with my clients in Africa and stuff, where then they buy you out. Somebody could buy your franchise.
Yes, easily.
But you have to be in the net. You have to be going to network. Yes. And with COVID, people are doing more like at home, like we're talking now, webinars and things like that. Now people are going out a little bit more than they were before. So that's how I think, it's not necessarily, going out to get money. You can actually get lawyers to help you do draft some kind of transaction. Of course, make sure that you go before the regulators to defend whatever you're doing, because I worked in M&A. Or you could actually have a franchise. You could sell it to somebody else. There are different options, right? You don't have to be a sole proprietor. You don't have to have a sole proprietorship. There are different business options out there that can help you to scale up and improve whatever you're doing. Or you can switch to a different business. It's been very difficult for a lot of people, this COVID, but it has also created opportunity for some.
And I know we have to learn how to pivot and move in different things of avenues when it comes to businesses. One of the things, when you mentioned healthcare before, is that I'm on the board of the Red Cross here in Maryland, and we are trying to close the gap on sickle cell. Most African and Black community do not donate blood because they are not at work. So we have lost hundreds of people to sickle cell issues because Black people are not donating the blood. Because to decrease a crisis of a sickle cell patient, you have to have matching blood. You have to have matching blood. So people who look like us have to donate for us. And I can't, it's hard to get people out because the sororities are not doing anything, the fraternities are not doing anything, the different groups are not doing anything. And they have to be, because everyone's COVID scared. And if they're COVID scared to help people save lives, you know that COVID scared to help build a business or to help a business thrive. It's actually a sad that I think more people have resulted to let fear base live their lives than science and policy, like or doing for the community. How do we get out of that as people? I think you froze up there, Doctor.
Yeah. So you're saying people are not donating their blood?
No, they're not. They're not in amounts that we need them. We're so far below the line.
I'm sorry.
We're so
I froze.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
I can. We're so far below of where we need to be to save lives. It is. I don't even want to get there. It makes me cry to think about it.
Did I? Hello?
Hello? There, you're back.
Hello?
Are you back? I think you froze up a little bit. There you go. I think you're back.
Yes. Well, you know, in terms of having to make people donate their blood, I would say I'm not in the business of doing that. If that's what you're asking, how do we get around it?
No, how do we get people to stop living in fear? It's really what it is. I know we're having some little bit of technical
doing what you're doing. I commend you for reaching out.
Hold on, you're frozen. You sound like a broken robot. You're not. I don't know if you can hear me, but you are definitely frozen. Yeah, you're definitely frozen. And I'm sorry for people that we're having some little bit of technical difficulties. That's okay. We will definitely be having Dr. Val back on sooner than later. I understand that we do the best we can with what we have when we have it. But let me tell you this. When you are okay with allowing people to die because you are afraid to get out, afraid to participate, afraid to engage, then the fear has directed you and is now driving you. And you're not on the freedom ride. You must fight for the things that you want to believe in. But if fear has you, and if fear is creating your language, and if fear is moving you, then you're not going to be good for the society, let alone your society. We'll get back. Of course, we always got to continue it with different difficulties. Let's see if we could get Dr. Val back on here. There she's back. There you go. I know we're having some technical difficulties, but there you go. Here you are.
Yes, I wonder, did it cut off? What happened?
It did. It cut off. We didn't hear anything you said when I was talking about people having a fear that's not allowing them to engage in life, whether it be donate blood or be save the business or anything like that. So yeah. But now you're back.
Yes, I'm back. I don't know. Something happened. Did you cut off too, or just me?
No, it was just you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So sorry about that. Can you see me?
I can.
Okay, good. So where did it cut off? I'm sorry.
It cut off way after I was saying that we can't get people to come out to donate blood. We can't get people to save businesses. We can't, because COVID has cost people their lives and it's cost people their businesses. And I was just saying this while you were coming in and out, that people are living in their fear-based lives. And it's hurting us as a society. It hurts us with lives and in business. And we can't have that.
I totally agree. People are really this is a very, one of the things as you're talking, and, we've talked about it, I think, in the past, mental health issues that people are facing. We haven't even begun to, experience the impact of COVID that we're going to have within the next 5-10 years.
Right.
People that lost their loved ones, they lost their economic livelihood. And, donating blood is a good thing. And I think, I was talking about outreach, educating people on the value, maybe through the churches, through the mosques, through, the various religious organizations, reaching out to the humanitarian aspects of humans. It's not very easy because it gets to the stage where man begins to think about survival of the fittest, and who am I to criticize anybody, really? Because everybody's dealing with their own situation, right? Be it from a personal or economic or spiritual or whatever they're dealing with right now. But the good news is that things are much better than at least last year, as you know, but we still have a long way to go because, as you know, Delta kicked in. And of course, with sickle cell patients, it's really sad that, they're not having access to, blood that they need, So I'm not sure if you're going through churches and nonprofits, NGOs.
We go through everyone. What we have not found is that people who say they're here to help. Now, this is my key point, and I'll make this very succinct. People who say they're helping, who are at different organizations, whether it be fraternities, sororities, community organizations, who said they're here for the community, they're not doing the work or enough work. And if they are doing work, it's very secretive because we're out here asking you to do the work, right? And they're not doing the work. And so I've been saying, if you're not going to do the work, then stop saying you belong to, you're associated with, and you care about. Because there's work to be done, and I'm out here, there's people out here, and we don't see those people. So that's where I get really hostile when it comes to people saying, well, we're here to do this and do that. Okay, well, there's a call for you to do. I shouldn't have to, if you're here to do the work, me calling on you, you should be like, oh, I'm so glad you called, I'll do what I can. But what we get is no answer. We're not home. Maybe another time. There is no other time, whether it be for business, homes, people losing their jobs, people losing their homelessness. This is the time. If you say you're going to do it, you better break it out and start doing. Because if you're not doing, then I have a question about why you say you are doing, because this is the time to do. Like you said, COVID helped a lot of people either understand who they were, understand what they were, or understand where they were going, or understand where they are not. Organizations who said they're here for the community and for people, if they're not doing, well, now it opened it up saying, wait a minute. You all this time you said you were here for us, you were here to support, you want this, join here, belong here. That's right. And they're not doing.
Yeah. It's tough. Like I said, through the NGO, through the non-governmental bodies, I think one can, I have clients that maybe they're going through a lot, so I've actually waived fees for some of them, giving them consultancy assistance, without having to charge, because I know they're going through a lot.
A lot. Me
You know
too.
what I mean? Everybody's going through theirs, but some more than others. So, that's how we.
This is why when many hands get together, the lifting is light. So don't
That's right.
think we're asking you to carry the load. We're not. We're not asking anyone. We're asking you to let us know what you need and let's all pitch in. That's all we're saying. Right.
Yes, yes. It's and we all now know that we're very interconnected.
Yes.
Humans, well, we've always known, but more so now.
Yeah.
And they say if someone in Africa sneezes, the rest of the world
Catches a
will
cold.
catch it. And if somebody in North America sneezes, the rest of the world will catch a cold. If somebody in Asia sneezes, the whole gambit.
Right.
We're so interconnected. It's like one world, one country kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So, they say, am I my brother's keeper? To a certain extent, we are. But, I still understand that everybody has issues that they're facing. We all do. So,
but let's face it together.
I learned, yes, I tell you, as we get older, we get wiser a little bit, like Solomon's wisdom. I don't want to, how you go. I give an example of like you're in the traffic and somebody yells, those rage road, what do they call them? Road rage, yes, road rage kind of people. I used to get like, what is going on? And now I'm like, maybe they're going through something. Sometimes they're speeding because maybe their wife is pregnant or their husband is sick or somebody's sick and they're speeding and going across and yada, yada. So it's hard to know what people are going through. And when they don't reach out to help, like in this scenario with giving blood, could it be maybe a selfish reason, or could it be that they're dealing with their own thing? It's very, and that's where, the role of churches, the role of mosques, the role of religious organizations becomes critical. And I think President Biden has a faith-based group within the White House that does quite a bit. I've been to a few of their meetings where they're doing advocacy and trying to push things forward or whatever. I don't know if you've joined that group.
I have not, but send me the information. We'll go on the back end of that. Before we leave and take up more of your time, being a mother, having a Black son, with all the things that's going on in our globe, I want to hear your perspective of how you are handling and how are you okay? Because we know what our sons and daughters feel, and we know the statistics, but on a personal basis, how are you doing?
Oh, with respect to just everything going on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing well, spiritually, strong, every day growing, as we say, and I think that, the joys of the world, or the joys of my personal joy, I don't necessarily derive from outside, it's from inside, right? And so because it's coming from inside, I try to hold my breath to not get swept away by, because if you do, there's climate change going on, global warming, floods, look, Louisiana, there's war in Afghanistan, there's, of course, I'm a trade business, lawyer and entrepreneur and all, but I can't lose sight of that, right? Because politics and all the socioeconomic, political, environmental conditions they're all sort of multifaceted and interconnected with what's going on, even within a family, right? They're all kind of, so I have dialogues with my family. The talk, be it on even the police brutality, the whole gambit. Not all police officers are bad, but we all do the talk, right? I'm sure you've done it with your family.
I hope so.
We better. Not everybody's bad. Not every white person is bad. Not every black person is bad. The whole gambit. Global warming is a true phenomenon. Look at what happened. Even what happened in Florida. They claim it was the building that fell had to do with just the structure.
Sinkhole. Yeah,
but we had, talking about that one, we also had an earthquake in Woodlawn a day after. And that building was just a stone throw, very close to the Atlantic in Florida, the building that fell. The woman who was talking to her husband saw the swimming pool collapse before she collapsed in the building. She died. And so the ground is shifting. Something is happening in the world. You go to Nigeria, they have a flood. You go to everywhere, all over. Greece, didn't they just have a flood there? They did. Or was it fire? California fires. I mean, everything is just happening. I can't even lose, So for children growing up, plus social media too, a lot of fake stuff, made with effect. How do you, you know what I'm saying? My son's baseball coaches just taught them that, listen, hey, kiddos, watch what you post. These are teenagers, right?
Absolutely.
And, their team just started, their season, the fall season. And that's what, I love that. I love what they did. I commend them. They sat them down. They said, listen, employers look at what you're posting.
That's right.
If, you're playing now in high school, whatever, be responsible. Yeah, have fun, but be careful. You respect women girls. My son is not yet on Instagram. I mean, he's into like athletic stuff, Fortunately, we keep him busy. Let me put it that way, right? But I tell my daughter the same thing. So the fact of the matter is engaging, talking with them. That's what it is. But we do our best, and we leave the rest to the creator of the universe, whatever one believes in. That's what it's all about, So there's so many dimensions: racial, environmental, social, economic, so many things. But in the end analysis, there are many good people, is what I tell my kids. All over the world, you find the good, the bad. I just told him that today. I said, it sounds like the Clint Eastwood movie, the good, the bad, the
ugly. Yeah.
I said there's the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful in every race, every ethnic group, every part of the world, everything. And look, we're just talking about the blood, donating blood and all. There are good people out there. Not everybody is Mother Teresa or,
right.
Nelson Mandela or, Gandhi. There are people who, of course, Jesus, of course, but purely altruist. Mohammed, whatever one, there are people out there people have said, my goodness, they are so good. And we all try to be as good as we can. I believe in God and whatever, Jesus was, to me, the best that there is, to me, the Son of God. I don't want to be preaching here, but everybody has their own belief systems. And I don't believe nobody believes in anything. Even people who don't say they don't believe in God, even if they're atheists, they believe in something.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's your alcohol that you drink that helps you to, or if it's money that's keeping you awake.
You believe in something.
Belief system somewhere, because as you said, the world is crazy right now. So what people are holding on to something, but the good news is the two things that are certain, taxes and debt. We're all going to die and we're all going to pay taxes. Uncle Sam will come after you regardless.
Regardless. No matter who you are and what you are.
Yeah. So with that, with on a personal note, yeah. So all it is engaging in a dialogue with our kids, that's what I try to do. You do the best you can. And because I can't imagine growing up, if I was a kid growing up now, how there's just so much just on their phone alone. In the past, you say, okay, don't go outside and play with your friends and, come on in. And that when they're in the house, you have control, but things are coming in.
Yeah.
In different directions. So there are many value systems where you can't put them in a bubble.
That's right.
And be walking around. So they have to learn, the dynamics of navigating on their own too, while you help them and guide them, but you can't twist their arm, really.
We're going to close it up and we're going to connect again sooner or later. We're going to get this going and we get your computer working. Thank you so much, Dr. Val. Anything you want to say before you go off?
Well, I want to commend you for what you're doing and I see the Freedom Ride at the back, and I know you went to the march. You went to the, yes, so keep it up. And, it's a good thing that you're doing in our community. And
we got to make a difference.
We all have to in our own ways. This is what it's all about. Everybody do their little bit here and there, and it adds up. It's like a chain, Yes. So keep it up. Yes.
If anyone has any questions, they can always reach me at drpaulwdyer@gmail.com and just contact me if you have any questions for Dr. Val. You can reach out to me and I will send it to her. Unless, Dr. Val, you want to give your phone number in case people have any questions. Go ahead.
Yes. My email actually is better. Okay. And it's vvictoroliverbboy@comcast.net. VOB@comcast.net. Yeah. Or you can look me up on LinkedIn too. Val Ukaru Baisant.
Thank you, Dr. Val. You have a great evening. Many blessings to you.